everyone. You're welcome again to another episode of Discussions on the Couch. Today, we're going to have a very interesting session on entrepreneurship among young adults. And we are honored, first off, to have Esther join us as our host today, along with Emefa. And we're discussing with a very intelligent gentleman. I was having a discussion with him offset and I find him very intelligent. His name is JT Jonathan Hoya. So many names for one person. So follow us through to the end. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to follow us on our other social media pages. Hoya. Tell us first about yourself and who you are.
Well, that's okay. I'm Jonathan Hoya. Yeah, I love business, so I'm an entrepreneur. And then, so my life basically revolves around one business to the other, helping both start their businesses, and myself doing something on my own. Yeah. And then, so that's the least I can say.
So knowing you, I know you are the co-founder for Zelano, and you manage your father's fashion business, and I know you do some marketing on the side. But first off, which of them is your first baby, and how did it all start for you?
Well, the entrepreneurship journey started way back, from school, let's say uni, Legon. So, no one is an island, I believe, in life. No matter who you are, you need someone who is supposed to be like a mentor to you. So, let's take the case of Steve Jobs. A lot of people know Steve Jobs, but so many people don't know about Robert Noyce. But Robert Noyce played a very critical role in the life of Steve Jobs. It's like that maybe without Robert Noyce, it would have been difficult to produce a Steve Jobs. Because when you think about the Silicon Valley, where you have the likes of all the wonderful companies in America today, where you have Apple, Google, and all of that community was founded by people like Robert Noyce. So Robert Noyce is considered as one of the grandfathers of the Silicon Valley, who created that startup culture that brought the rise of these wonderful companies we see today, Facebook, Uber, and all of that. So I was fortunate to meet a wonderful gentleman called Shelter Tay, in level 100. And before level 100 in secondary school, I had been considering business. I think I was a little bit clueless. All I knew was that I wanted to make so much money so I could make impact in my world. But then when I got to level 100 and I met this gentleman, he helped to streamline my thoughts. And I think that's where the entrepreneurship drive really started from. Although I was admitted to do agriculture science at the College of Agric, Shelter was in the business school then, and he had this club, kind of like a financial investment, leadership, entrepreneurship, and a business club. So I joined in level 100, and I had much more interest in the club than when I was studying in class. And I was exposed to who was the richest person in the world, check the Forbes list, the stock market, how was it doing like in level 100. Level 100, I learned how to write CVs in level 100. Level 100, I was selling tickets. So that was where it actually really started for me. Yeah. So we can never take away wonderful people like mentors from our life. Because they've been through what you are going through, they've seen the experiences and all of that. So for me, that's how it started.
Okay. Well, I think that the spirit of entrepreneurship is something that, if I may, trending these days among young adults. Emefa, what do you think? What have you seen around? How do you think entrepreneurship is moving up with young adults or young people like that?
I think now everyone calls that a side business. So they have the main thing they do. Either they are doing a 9 to 5 or they have their own business, but then they have something else they are doing. And so I think now it's like a favorite for everybody. Everybody wants to do something for themselves to earn extra money. I think it stems from the fact that we want to get extra money. Some people want to be entrepreneurs because of the money and not because of the passion. But you, it looks like you are an entrepreneur because of the passion.
Yeah. In a sense, it's both ways. I'm a Christian. Sometimes I believe entrepreneurs are closer to the heart of God than any other profession, in the sense that they create jobs, they create value, and that's the thing, value. That's what she was talking about. Value is the catch. Entrepreneurs exist to create value. Everything we are putting on, from everything that's on this set,
Yes.
wouldn't have been here if someone didn't sit down to create value. Of course, at the end of the day, the person will make money. But then you can talk about the likes of social entrepreneurs who sometimes are just doing it for the impact. So they are not looking at maybe profit as as in the source, as in the reason why they are pursuing entrepreneurship. But whichever way you look at it, yes, the passion and then impact. Yeah, for me, I passion and then to make money, because money is good.
Oh yeah.
When you have money,
is good.
you can
Yeah.
Esther, money is oh, money is good. And also, like what you were asking Emefa, I think that most of the youth now are trying to all venture into businesses because of the level of unemployment in our country as well. You know, people finish school, there are no jobs. And so you have to just sit down and think about something. Okay, well, I've noticed that people like dresses, so let me start selling dresses. But I've noticed that people like, so I think most of the youth are entering entrepreneurship because of the rate of unemployment that we have in our country.
Yeah, true.
Let me steer the conversation in this manner. Now, just as the youth are all venturing, or like most of us are venturing into entrepreneurship, either as what we're doing mainly because we can't seem to find unemployment, or as Emefa will put it, a side business. I realized that a lot of these small businesses are suffering in a particular manner. With a little entrepreneurship, I know. One of the things that I think are key and core is who is your market. And I think a lot of people struggle with identifying that and understanding that not what you are out to sell, be it a service or a product, is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody is interested in a yellow top. A yellow satin top. I don't like a yellow top. I don't like a black cotton t-shirt.
Yeah.
It makes me look boring. How have you dealt with that? Because I know Zelano, tell us about Zelano and how you're able to identify that. I think I want to do this, and this is who I should target you to get a market for it.
Well, you see, with everything you want to do successfully in life, you require training. When you want to play football, you go to football academy. Even if you learn how to play from the backyard in Ghana, and you want to play a top club like Barcelona or Man United,
Or Arsenal,
you definitely find yourself requiring coaching and training.
Yes.
If you want to learn how to make dresses or shirts, you have to go through apprenticeship. It's a form of training and coaching. When we go to school and you want to become a lecturer, a professor, you go through training. There's nothing in this world that you want to do that you wouldn't go through training. Even you want to become a minister of God, a pastor, after identifying God's call upon your life, at the point in time you have to go through some training. That's what happens when it comes to business too. But a lot of people don't recognize that. The reason being that when we look at our mothers at home who go to market to go and sell, question is who gave them that training to go to the market and go and sell. It might not be formal, but probably they had a kind of exposure that helped them to have a certain focus. With the young people these days, yes, it's true. one entrepreneur likes to say the social media is a new gold mine because you have lots and lots of people there. All you need to do is to post something there and you definitely get someone to like it. But if you want to become a very successful entrepreneur and you go through training and coaching, you realize that some of these issues like finding your market are addressed. For example, there's this business model that is called the Lane Canvas business model. I was exposed to it when I spoke to you about shelter. Every business requires a business model. And it also depends on the kind of business you want to start. If you want to build a sustainable and a credible business over a long period of time, then you look into things like that. When you go through a business model, you realize that you find a segment which asks you your customer segments. For example, when you take pure water, we can sell pure water for 20 pesos or 30 pesos. I heard some places. And Voltic. And even, or let me say the Voltic size, because we have different kinds of brands as well. Although they are all water, they are packaged differently.
Yeah.
Because there are different customers who will buy. You see, so every business requires different customer segments. But to arrive at that, that's what we call in the business model canvas. You have to get a point in time where when your first idea you conceive is kind of like a hypothesis. So a typical example, I want to manufacture shoes, like you're using the case of Zilano, let's say slippers, sandals. First, you come up with a prototype. That's what we call in business a prototype. When you come up with a prototype, how are people's reactions towards that prototype that you've come up with? In the process of checking that out, you discover a lot of beautiful things, customer feedbacks about your price, about the material you use. Then it helps you find out your customer segment. You realize some people are willing to pay maybe 90 cedis. Some people are willing, they don't care even if I'll pay 500 cedis. You know, Steve Jobs said something about price and value. He feels that, you know, once you do something that's great, forget about the price. People want value and they'll give you anything they want for that. He had that philosophy in his mind, which helped to build Apple. That's why maybe sometimes Apple stuffs are very expensive because if I do something great, people will come with the money. So you have to first go through the prototype stage. You find out what people need on the market. And there are some school of thoughts that are opposed to that, but I think this process helps to save cost. For example, you are coming out with a new product, a drink. You are in your room and you're thinking, people want ginger and they like plenty sugar. So you say, I have an idea, maybe Eureka. Then you package this thing, you buy stuff, invest, you understand. Then you go to the market or you start selling, you realize that about 90% of the people don't even like ginger at all.
Yes.
Wasted money. And companies have collapsed and are destroyed because of that. So that's why in business we call it the startup phase when you start. Because during those times, those are the times that you test your hypothesis. And it's one of the reasons why banks are scared to give loans to young people. Because it's risky. You've just started. They can't trust you with the market. They want to see results.
Yeah.
So let's say after you've done a hypothesis on the drink and you have like, people are calling in for orders. You have 500 orders this week, 1,000 orders this week. Then with that number, you can make a case with any financial institution if they are the reason how we get, they feel like, you have the market.
Yeah.
They are confident to give them money because that money, mind you, is not for them. Our money is in the money is in the bank. It doesn't belong to them.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's where it comes from. But the reason why I said it depends on the kind of business is right now when you go on Instagram, there are a lot of businesses. When you go on Facebook, there are a lot of businesses. Question is, are those people doing those things as in, do they want to build a very sustainable business with it? If they don't have the passion to go that way, they'll think it doesn't make sense to go for training to start a business. They'll think once I can post something and someone will buy, what is my reason for trying to find who my customer is? Because at the end of the day, someone will definitely buy online.
Yes.
But you see, when you do things right, at the end of the day, it's for your own benefit. So to identify who your customer is, you have to go through the business model phase and you go through different, sometimes pivot and iterations. You see, you have to be out there yourself. The one who is starting the business, you have to be out there. What do customers think? What are they saying? You come back home, you do something different. And at the end of the day, you come with a product that at least a lot of people vibe with. And finally, with Zilano's case, I think Zilano, when we started, there are a lot of shoemakers in Ghana.
Yeah.
Producers, they make wonderful, beautiful slippers and sandals. But we had to find out what were customers' feedback concerning those slippers and sandals they were wearing. And sometimes some talk about price, some talk about quality, some talk about comfort. So you put all of those things together and you start. Then you start selling some, you get customer feedback, someone will buy, I don't like it, can you do this way? Then you keep building on that.
Yeah.
So companies exist to always build on feedback. The customer is not always right. But then the feedback from the customer will help you a great deal to put things in line. Yeah, because in marketing, you understand that customer is king, even though the customer is not always right. So through the hypothesis stage and all of that, you're able to at least know exactly what people want. Then you can build on that. Then you have a correct market. You know that this is the market I'm serving.
My sister usually goes for a lot of, these trainings that you're talking about.
Okay.
And at a point I felt like, why is she even wasting so much time on it? Because I thought, they were not really important.
they
All
were,
you need to do.
Yeah.
But I think now I understand
they are
why
very
she
important.
keeps going for all those business trainings.
And that you waste resources at the end of the day. That is if you want to build something very sustainable and credible over time.
I'm just so scared to even enter into anything, So how sustainable is it?
Okay, I'll tackle it from the point of fear. The point of fear is when I go in, am I going to make money? And probably you've heard stories about how people started business and employees didn't maintain the business well, they put in loads of money and they lost at the end of the day. And you're thinking about all of these stories and let me just go get a job. So, Charlie, at the end of the month, so security. But it's not bad. But one of the things you also get to understand about entrepreneurship is a mindset. Entrepreneurship is more than just you wanting to start a business. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. So we have big companies and people are working there as employees. But in entrepreneurship culture, we call them intrapreneurs. They are in the company and they are working. So it's a mindset. But the thing about the fear factor is this. You see, everything you do in life, you take risk. You don't take foolish risk, but calculated risk. The reason why this point is important is because I know people who have quit school because of entrepreneurship. Maybe they heard of the story of Mark Zuckerberg and all of others, but I told you about Robert Noyes, who was more of like a mentor to Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
He was a graduate, furthered his education, got his master's and all of that. There are brilliant and wonderful entrepreneurs who have gone to school to the top.
Yeah.
So you can't make a case when you say this person didn't go to school.
So
there are reasons. For example, look at Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Go into his case, find out what actually caused him to drop school. Even when he left school, he was dropping on classes like italics and stuff like that. And that helped him when he was, they were trying to put the Apple computer together, the writings and all of that.
Yeah.
Read about Mark Zuckerberg, what caused him to leave school. So you don't take situations in bits and form a whole theory around it. You've been mistaken. The fear factor is, will I fail? Even if you fail, you can still try. But that issue is linked to what I call timing in business. A lot of people ask me these days, when is the best time to start business? The point is, business is hard. Entrepreneurship is strong. It's difficult. People say, I want to quit 9 to whatever, so I start my own business.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Because when you start as an entrepreneur, you are your everything. You have to learn how to do everything.
Yeah.
And there's more pressure on you because you need to make things happen. There wouldn't be pressure on you around the timing thing. Why? Because let's say you're in school. Of course, you have to study in school. By that time, your parents are feeding you.
Yeah.
Someone is taking care of you. Even if you fail in class, you still get food to eat.
Yes.
They've paid for your accommodation or whatever. You get a place to sleep. If not your parents, maybe your relative or someone. But you see, when you grow, you go to a stage in life where everybody feel now you are old, so take care of yourself. At that time, when you're starting business, it's a little bit, it's very challenging because you are now going to, who are your customers, all of that. You're now going to, and there's no one who is graciously giving you money. If you're not fortunate to be leaving your parents where you don't have to think about rent and you start renting, what will you do? So the issue about this unemployment and entrepreneurship, when you talk about unemployment, it's serious. It's across the world.
Yeah.
But the point is, young people sometimes take the risk to start businesses, but 1, 2, 3 years they give up. 1 year they give up because it's not easy. You have to now find your market and all that. Most of those people they don't go through training.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. But when you start at a time where there's a little bit of comfort, then you're not afraid of the risk. Because at the end of the day, when money goes to waste or something, you can still have some gari to eat or some food to eat. But at the time where you are at ground zero, then you have to psych your mind and believe in what you are doing. And that's why I like to advise people not just to go in for the money, but to think value. Because value is even the main bait for the money. If you don't create value, you don't make money. You are as poor as the value you don't create. Sometimes you might create value, but it's not reasonable value. So the question is, how can I create reasonable value? When you think value and you go into the course or the line, or you take the aspect of entrepreneurship as what you want to do with your life, there is fulfillment, there is passion, there is joy. Why? Let's say I want to have an idea, a watch. There are a lot of watches in the market. How can I do my watch differently? Of course, it will bring me money, eureka moment. But if I'm just thinking about the money and I want to do a work watch, I'll be stressed and at the end of the day, I'll not even make the money.
Yeah.
But if I want to have the idea of manufacturing a watch with the mindset of giving my world or my generation the next beautiful watch, the energies that goes into it is different. When your money even finishes, when you are building the watch, you don't give up. There is a motivation, there is a drive, because there is a focus. That is it. If that is missing, the stress level will be so much. You read about people who built wonderful companies. There are years that they go without correct money. But they keep going because they believe in the vision. Why do they believe in the vision? Because they believe it's a value they are creating. And sometimes the beautiful thing is, you'll be amazed that what you are working on will not even be what will give you a breakthrough. Along the line, you even discover another product or another business. Along the line, that even becomes, most of the big companies we know didn't start doing what they are doing when they started. Along the line. You see, so the thing about the risk and the fear factor and should I start entrepreneurship now? I don't want to. Should I start that journey now? I don't start now. Boils around this thing. Now, we make the noise, start something as a young person, do something as a young person. The reason is, when you start early and you fail many times, by the time maybe you are 30, or let's say you start at 20 or you start at 25, by the time you are 30, 35, you'd have gone through loads of stuff, gotten series of experiences, been exposed to a lot of people. You understand? You've tested your ideas and more ideas have come up. By that time, things would have been, if not 100% right, things would have been 90% okay. You would have gotten, something to do. And you would have even realized, okay, it's interesting to know that maybe along the line, you might even be employed by a multinational company because of some of these ideas you bounce on them. And if that's, you are only doing business, if you are doing entrepreneurship because of the money. Because there are people who have got the opportunity to work with some of these big companies and they decline. Not so because they don't like money, but they believe in their vision and the idea and the value they are creating. And they know that at the end of the day, that's worth much more, there'll be much more benefit or impact than going for this deal. That's why you take decisions like that. You don't just take those decisions like at a goal. So you start early. Start early the risk factor is low.
I would say I agree with him on the value concept. Even psychologists would always say that, when you do something and you believe that you've done something good, you have an influx of a hormone we call dopamine. And it gives you some pleasure and joy. It actually gives you more energy to continue doing whatever you're doing. So I think, like you're saying, it's important that we don't just think about the money, but then, you think about the value that you are creating and then.
Yeah, because it's the value that brings the money.
Yeah.
If I want water to buy, and I have maybe 1 cedi to buy a bottle of water, I won't go to a fitting shop or a carpentry shop. I'll go to where the water is. If the water was not there at that time, that 1 cedi wouldn't have gone there. So everything we have in our homes, everything we wear, everything around us, those things are there as a result of value. And the people we bought them from, they wouldn't have money if they didn't bring those things to light. So the problem about young people is you are running after the money and don't want to create value. But value is what attracts the money. It's like a magnet. If I do good ties, and I'm exceptional as that. If you want good ties, you come to me. If you have 20 cedis in your pocket that's looking for a good tie, my name will just come into your head. That money will come to me. So if I want money, I should think of creating value. So the thing is about value, and I feel we are living a value-driven life. When you think like that, that's when you realize when God says no one is useless. Sometimes in school, our teachers will insult useless boy, blockheaded, blah, blah, blah. You are angry. But how can you justify the fact that you are not useless? Create value. So when you go to school, whichever class you are, in the agri class, in the business class, in the IT class, in the maths class, think value. I ask young people this question. If you had all the monies in the world before you went to uni, what course would you study? If you had all the monies in the world before you went to senior high school, what course would you read? Then the motivation is different. But we keep getting poor because we've been conditioned that we go to school to make money. We have friends who graduated, meaning, like, what's happening at home? What's happening in our pocket? Nothing. But when you go to school to understand that you are going there to acquire knowledge, information, to create value, the thinking is different. The rate of suicide will come down among young people. Ghana will come up with beautiful and wonderful innovations and inventions all around the world. But it's not just a case of Ghana. It's a global something.
Yeah.
So young people must think value. Young adults must think value. It should sink. When that happens and you are studying maths, you don't study maths just because you want to make an A. The passion with which you receive the teacher in the class is different. You are studying any course in class because you know that all of those things add up to giving you information. That helps you to create value. Then you realize that no course is useless. And I love innovation and creativity a lot because in the creative and innovative space, you realize that maybe, or almost all the time, you tend to go back to some informations that sometimes you didn't even value. So in the creative and innovative processes, every information becomes valuable at a point in time. This where we are having this discussion is a very wonderful place. Rising arts, amazing people, world-class people. I love the way they go about their work. Talk to them, they are creatives. How they come up with their ideas. You realize that, Charlie, you need every bit and pieces of information to put together to make things happen. If you think value, money will chase us. But if you want to chase the money, at the end of the day, you'll be miserable. Yeah, because that's why you fight with your self-esteem. You don't believe in yourself. People treat you anyhow. They offer you any donkey thing you want to do. And all of that. You understand? We can talk about value maybe another time. It's a whole thing on it.
So, value, branding, field businesses, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, so much.
Find another time to
Sure, that's fine.
veer into, because I think it's a very, very important subject. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
JT.
Thank you to
Thank you,
Amanda.
Esther, for
Thank you,
joining
everybody.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us, watching us. Catch you again on another episode of Discussions on the Couch. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to follow all of our social media pages. And that's bye.